All right. Looks like we're live here. Let me get on here and uh pull this thing up so I can communicate with the chat, see what's going on. Yo. I'm in a new spot today, so somebody might pull up and knock on the window and be like, "Hey, you can't be here." So we'll see what's up. Boom. Okay, let me turn this down. Check this chat. Say what's up to the folks in here. I got Conan 68 in the house. My man Rambo Jambo. Brian David, what's up, dude? Hey, Julia, how you doing? Jelly B. Conan's in here. Gartrell McKinney. Greg T. What's up with you? Tim Truth in the house. Let's do it. Let's get it. Let's get it. True Seeker Mafia. What's happening? Keyboard Warrior. Uh-oh. Always. Jacob Morley in the house. What's going on, man? Miguel Mojica, what's good? All right, got Fluffy Bree. Bri, is it? We'll see. My bad. Flathead Politics, what's going on? Aaron Stevens, question everything. What's up, Big Dread? Wolverine 314, what's good? Tommy Robles. Isaiah 4022, what's good? I think only Shields respond to my YouTube comments. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Anyway, Brandon Mulray, Brian David, what's happening? You need a handicap sticker? Nah, well, I'm saying I'm only 30%, but anyway, that's beside the point. Anyway, we going and bring this down a little bit. Boom, boom, boom. All right, all right. So I'm still trying to get set up over here. All right, see, Louis, you know, Flat Earth, True Seeker. What up, what up? All right, folks. So let me go on and cut this thing down a little bit. What's been up, man? Big Vegan in the house. What's good, bro? How you been?
What's good, man? I got my grandson yelling in the background. Give me a second.
All right, all right. Seth Bot, what's happening? Flat Earth Trinity? Oh, okay. Yes, sir.
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
Oh, you know, just continuing the mission, trying to get the word out on these things. Shoot, got a couple little topics I wanted to look at, some things that came out recently.
Okay.
Yeah, let me do some announcements. I try.
We're gonna save the big one for the end. We're gonna save the big one for the end.
I guess. I mean, you know, we can.
Let's cover the business first, and then we can talk about these little beefs and all that little stuff. If it's squash, stuff like that, because I know the people want to know what's going on.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so yeah, we'll handle that and handle the stories and all that good stuff, and then we'll, you know, get around to it maybe in the second hour or something. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. All right, so y'all know that recently, like a few weeks ago, I went to LA to film episode of Ask A with Kev on stage, and people been asking me, "Yo, D, you know, when's that episode coming out?" I hadn't heard anything from Kevin. That man's busy. He's out here touring. He's doing a tour called I believe it's called the Real Comedians of Social Media Reloaded. And he's on tour right now doing that, handling business. The show Ask A, that started in February, and he's been releasing an episode every Monday. So subscribe to Kev on Stage on YouTube. Check him out. I've been watching his stuff. They do a show, Righteous and Ratchet. That comes out on Wednesdays. I listen to that. These dudes are a trip, though. Kevin and Doughboy, they crack me up. But so as far as when the episode Ask a Flat Earther comes out, I don't know. So stop asking. Anyway, other than that, I may very well be in Denver in a couple weeks. I forget the dates. I got an invite to an event in Denver that might be the weekend of the 15th and 16th. I believe that's when it's supposed to be going down. Still haven't talked to my point of contact the last couple of days about that. So we haven't gotten everything all concrete. So that may or may not happen. So I might be in Denver in a couple weeks. I got an interview with Sean Carone from TFR, Truth Frequency Radio. That's going to be on March 23rd at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And that's an interview with Sean Carone. We're just going to be, doing a recap. I did a interview with Sean. I don't know. It might have been the year before last. It might have been 2017 last time I talked to him. But yeah, we had a pretty good discussion. So we're just going to be catching up, on his show. And a shout out to the crew over in the UK, handling business. There was a observation that took place a couple weekends ago. Dr. John D had the peer-to-peer observation, and let me see. There's a meme that I've been seeing recently on let me see, on the internet. I just wanted to share this one with you. I'll share my screen. I still got my notes up and everything. So yeah, it's this meme here. This is some shots from that particular observation. They took lasers out, and there was a stretch of water around 10 miles long, and they had lasers on both sides. And right here you can see the brightness of the green laser here, and across the water you can see the brightness of the red and green laser if you go in real close like. But y'all know me, lasers don't lie. Liquid and lasers is what's used to determine that which is level. So y'all, so I support them for going out and doing that. That was the peer-to-peer observation that was in Brighton a couple weeks ago. So they're like behind the curve. They're like, what curve? Because lasers firing over a level surface of water. This is about 10 miles. So that's, let's say it's 50 feet of missing curvature between those 2 points of observation. And all the information is on Dr. John D's channel. Roxanne, the globalist denier, she was in attendance with that one. So just a shout out to them. Also, they're doing another observation tomorrow, March 2nd, and they're going for twice the distance of the prior observation. So I forget the names of the peers, but check them out. That's Dr. John D on his channel and Roxanne, the globalist denier. They're likely going to be live streaming that whole observation. We don't call it experiment. It's just an observation. We're just going out to observe the brightness of the source of lasers at a distance over a surface of water. So they're going for about 20 miles this time. So tomorrow, tune in to Roxanne, the globalist denier, and Dr. John D, and they're going to be live streaming the results of that. So that's a 20-mile observation. I don't know what kind of lasers they have for that, but they got a nice size staff to handle all the logistics on that. So there's that. Shout out to them. Very cool what they got going on over there. Now, here's the thing. So I was trying to get out there with my guys the other night, and that did not happen. We were supposed to go live, and what we were trying to do, yeah, Dave Marsh will be there also. Thanks, Ron. Ron Hagberg said Dave Marsh will be there too. So yeah, that picture was taken by Dave Marsh. Or I've seen that posted by Dave Marsh. I've seen that posted by Roxanne on Facebook and Instagram from that. So what happened? I was supposed to be getting out there and trying to do a live observation with the lasers across the water a couple of days ago. That didn't happen, obviously, because I mean, you would have saw the video. So I mean, between personnel issues, between the weather. So here, let me walk you through what happened very briefly. And I tried to do this the other day from the shop, but Ebony and Gabby, they were messing around. And they had me kind of distracted, so I couldn't tell you what was going on. Shout out to them. Silly. But so what happened is like I was talking to Carlos, my man Carlos Pagero in Florida, my tech guy. He was supposed to be operating the OBS the live stream through OBS on my channel from Florida. So what we were trying to do, we were trying to have my side streaming, and then there was supposed to be, you know, the side with Mark and Preston. So it was supposed to be me and Kendall on one side, Mark and Preston on the other side. It was just two of us out there. So Carlos had stuff to do at home. You know, there was some situations, some personal situations. So we were like pushed back like an hour already. So we were already like an hour late. And then by the time we got the tech set up, we got the audio, we got, you know, we got the video and all that streaming. It was about 7:30, something like that. It was another half hour later. So finally, like out on the, we get our position down to get to the beach. I go out there and I notice that the tide's way out, like further out than I've ever seen it. And I've been out to Saltwater State Park multiple times, and I've never seen the tide out that far, never. But it was way out there, so I'm like expecting to be on the beach, set the tripod up, set the laser up, and we're just a few feet above the water. So that didn't happen. We had to go way out, stepping over there in the water there. Then on top of that, it was windy, so that was causing waves between us. There was points where we could see the laser on the other side firing back at us. They could kind of see us firing back at them, but there were, since it was so windy, it was creating these huge waves, and then the tide was coming back out. It was rough trying to get that whole situation taken care of. Plus, it was cold. It was real cold out there. By the time we finished up, man, I had these little hot hands things trying to work that out, and I mean my stuff was like frostbitten up onto about my wrist about right there. So it was all bad. We'll try it again another time. Mark is out of town, and he'll be gone for a couple months. So we might have somebody else. Actually, we might have to find like, I don't know. We might need like 4 people on each side or something. We're gonna have to get a nice big team, because I'm sitting here, I'm trying to move the laser around, I'm trying to keep the light going, I'm trying to keep the camera adjusted. Ken's he's trying to film, doing the live stream and all that. We're gonna need more people on both sides. So it was like a staffing issue. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened there. Well, you know, at least we're out trying to make something happen, you know, trying to interact, trying to get out there and, you know, prove what we understand, or just reprove it, because we've already been out on the water. We've already seen the lasers from both sides in that other video I did, beating a dead globe. So that's what happened. That's all I got. Shout out to Escape Plan. Sure appreciate you. Thank you for that super chat. Okay, let me see what else is going on out here. All right. So hey Vegan, did you see I don't know, see any snippets from your boy Joe Rogan chatting with Eddie Bravo and Alex Jones? You hear about that?
Yeah, the whole alien stuff. Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah. I'm saying, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I think they're preparing to push the alien agenda. I mean, they've already pushed it, but I think they're positioning the population to be ready for some type of alien event. It's probably going to be something that, in my opinion, that can't be proven, but it's going to open up the doors of speculation, so people can think even more so about believing in aliens and thinking that they're coming to get us. You know, it's all about creating fear and nostalgia. I think it's coming. I think that alien false flag event is coming. You heard it here first.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And you know, that was it was from that clip that Eddie Bravo. That Eddie Bravo clip from you know, a couple weeks ago that I just like chopped up and put some other stuff on. He was talking about how you know, they're gonna like stage this fake alien invasion. And I mean, I feel like it's all interconnected as far as the spraying, the geoengineering, and all that. Um, I think that's going to tie in with that Project Blue Beam, them being able to project these images into the sky and all that. 5G rollout, I think that's connected too.
Yeah, yeah. Somehow they're going to do some major event, and it's going to be designed to convince people that aliens are real and they're amongst us and all that stuff. Just like the movies, they usually play out the movie stuff. Whatever we seen in the movies, they're going to try to play it out in real time. I mean, what did Schaffner tell us? He said science is nothing but science fiction. So.
Oh yeah, Shatner.
Shatner, yeah, that
Straight
guy.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did say that.
yeah.
Trying to drink some coconut water. It's an acquired taste. It's kind of, yeah.
It's good for you.
And it's lukewarm too.
Yep.
Let me see what else happened. Let me see. All right. I am the ether. Shout out to you. Appreciate it. Said long time silent fantasy. Keep it up. Yes, sir. Sure appreciate it.
Long time fantasy. I hope that's a girl.
Long time silent fantasy. Yeah.
I hope that.
No, look. Long time silent fantasy. It might. I'm interpreting that as let me see, that whole alien invasion thing is a silent fantasy. I could be
Wow.
wrong. Been wrong before.
Or he's fantasizing about being Marvel. That's what it is.
All right.
No, I'm just
Wait.
kidding.
Right. All right. Oh, good. Shoot. Let me see. What's this next thing I wanted to check out? Oh yeah. So here, let me share my screen so we can look at one of these funny stories. Chat about this a little bit. Did you hear about that Super Hubble?
Now they got a super Hubble now.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It's not Hubble. This is Super Hubble. They put a cape on it and everything. It's man. So yeah, it says shoot, this is from the Daily Mail. Let me see. Let me close this out. Yeah, stop seeing the ad. Get out of here. All right. Anyway. Oh my goodness. Go away. Tech issues over here. My OCD's messing with me. These other pages popping up. All right, so yeah, Super Hubble could discover 1,400 new planets. Because we're always hearing about these other planets that, oh my God, go away. All right, could discover 1,400 new planets. NASA telescope, due to launch by 2025, can better spot worlds outside our solar system thanks to a quirk of physics discovered by Einstein.
Right.
We're going to have to go over this a little bit more in depth when the time comes. Okay, so let me see. A new deep space telescope could find 1,400 planets outside of our solar system. It will be able to map galaxies 100 times faster than the Hubble Space Telescope. It will find hundreds of new galaxies compared to the few that Hubble found. A mission to take the telescope into space will cost NASA $2.45 billion. Okay. Let me see. I believe that's pounds. I could be wrong. That's euro currency. And or $3.25 billion.
Right.
Billions for the new Super Hubble. So this is what we get. Let me see. NASA's flagship mission into space could find as many as 1,400 new planets using a telescope 100 times more powerful than the Hubble telescope.
100 times.
All right. Let me see. The mission is costing the space agency 2.45 billion euros or $3.25 billion and will deploy WFIRST, W first, that can produce the clearest image of the universe to date. Wow. The mission will continue to the work of its predecessor telescope, the Kepler, that found more than 2,600 planets outside of our solar system before its mission ended last October.
So they got is
And
that a picture of the Super Hubble?
oh no, this right here. Well, I think this is just a picture of the prototype, or this is an artist depiction. There you go.
Well, why they got it looking like it's in space?
I'm saying, man, look, we've been asking them the question so long as far as where are the stars at. So I mean, they're trying to be more on their P's and Q's at this point. But my
Oh,
thing is, they I feel like they messed up on this picture in particular because I was listening to I listen to so much stuff. I was listening to somebody chatting earlier. Oh yeah, it was Homo sapien talking to Sanchez. So what he was saying, so what he was saying was basically that it's all about the lighting. So since the Earth, that's why we can't see stars in the background of pictures of Earth because uh, the Earth is just so bright from the Earth shine because it's reflecting light from the sun, so it just kind of washes out everything in the background, and so they kind of have to turn the brightness of the Earth down, and that causes the stars to go dark in the background, basically.
oh,
Yeah, but
that's interesting.
yeah,
Why
yeah.
does it look like an air conditioner or something connected to to a factory or a building or something? Looks like a unit, one of those units that's on the side of the building.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it does. I'm saying you flip it like flip it horizontal or
Yeah,
vertical, and I'm saying
right.
looks like one like a smokestack covered in some flimsy tinfoil with some matted spray paint on it or something. Good lord! And then we
So
got the flux
that's not a
capacitor right here.
oh, it's going to investigate dark energy. Also, I just seen that.
Oh, is that what's gonna do?
Yeah, you see right up under the picture, it says, "We'll investigate dark energy."
Wow.
Yeah,
And
so it's gonna. You guys still there? D Marble fell off. Can you still hear me in the chat? Or did I fall off the chat? Can you hear me in the chat? It says I'm still live. All right, D's back. All right, he's off again. He's back again. Here he comes.
all right, I'm back.
All right.
Yeah, because I looked at the thing and I'm like, up, fell off again. Almost like I was at my old spot. Not no
They,
no place like home.
they don't like you talking about their picture.
I guess not. I don't know. This stuff makes too much sense, I guess. So we got this cartoon illustration here. It's supposed to be investigating dark energy and exoplanets and all that, and it's due to fly by mid 2020. So, this is what they keep
Hold on.
doing.
What's the exoplanet again?
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. I'm saying this is out there. It's more of that nebulous vernacular that they use.
So
Exoplanets, dark energy, dark matter,
it's probably
quarks, quasars.
is it planets outside our solar system or something?
Um, let me see. Planets outside our solar system. Yeah, actually, yeah. I don't. Here, let me. Do I
I'm
need
gonna,
to look this
I'm
up
gonna look
real
at the
quick?
words exo.
Yeah, yeah. The external planets
Yeah,
out here.
that's what I'm thinking.
All right. I mean, more than likely, outside of our solar system.
Right.
Because I mean, is that like,
And then you got exoplanets.
yeah, beyond Earth's atmosphere, which stretches out beyond the moon now. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
there is,
The moon's going to smash into the Earth too.
yeah, because I mean, because Earth's gravity is perpetually pulling it closer to to the Earth, like what like 3 centimeters a year or something like that.
They really can measure that.
Right. I'm like, how they determine that? Got this yardstick. We went and checked it like every year for like 40, 50 years. And every year it would seem that, yeah, 3 centimeters. Boom. There it is.
Well, let me say this real quick. And I said I got into I did a one-on-one with Tim Osmond today. Don't ask me why. I just did. He sent me an email, sent me a link, and I did a one-on-one. I also uploaded the video on my new channel, and I'll cover that later. Um, I don't understand why the scientific community does not ever challenge NASA. And maybe I'm wrong. Have you ever heard any public outcry about the actions of NASA? Have you ever seen that?
Public outcry? No. I mean,
Anyone like try to go head to head with NASA, say, "Hey, you're wrong. This is inaccurate." It made it to the news. It made it in a public forum. Has anyone ever seen that? How about the
I don't
chat?
think so. I don't think so. Anybody in the chat heard of that? I don't know. Well, hold up. I got a couple shout outs. Shout out to Casey Walker. I just like to hear you say my name. Thank you, Casey. Sure appreciate you. And there's Tim Truth. Everyone needs to support our yellow vest brothers and sisters in France fighting corrupt government and being brutalized. Protest tomorrow. All right. Yeah, man. The yellow vest. I like what they're doing over there. If that's a real thing, if that's organic, I mean, it could be another one of those psyop type situations. I hope it's not. I really hope it's not some George Soros funded type stuff. I hope that's a real thing, honestly. Sure appreciate it, Tim. Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, man.
And the reason
So
I asked that is because isn't that an indication that you're in a congregation? I mean, you the congregation never challenges the pastor. No one challenges the priest. No one challenges the people that are the authority in the dogmatic belief system. NASA is an authority for a government. It's not supposed to be religious. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a government agency. How can you have a government agency where no one challenges it publicly? I mean, think about it. We challenge the IRS. We challenge pretty much all the other agencies. Why is it that no one challenges NASA? That was a question I posed to Tim Osmond when I was speaking with him today. And I was just wondering, I just think it's strange. There's no dissension. There's no, when I was talking to Tim today, he was basically telling me that they're all on the same sheet of music. But in itself, that's a problem. How can millions, if not hundreds of millions of people be all on the same sheet about science? Some control element there. You know what I mean? And they think they're, and they all think they're independent thinkers. They all think that they are on the side of right, but they don't challenge each other. NASA comes out and says the moon is now in the Earth's atmosphere. You don't hear no one challenging that. Why? That was one of the things I just wanted to put out there.
well, that does make sense. And I was listening to the Flat Earth Brothers. They were doing a hangout earlier. Shout out to them, Flat Earth Brothers. If you haven't subscribed to Flat Earth Brothers, yeah, check them out. They put out some really good stuff. And they were talking about the same thing. I mean, like that whole situation now where the Earth's atmosphere is spread out so far that the moon is now within the Earth's atmosphere. That's going to be printed as fact in the science books. Like the next time they print, that's going to be in the books.
Right.
All right. So
with no opposition.
None.
No one's going to challenge it. No one's going to ask where that information came from. It goes against everything that they were taught, but they just accept it because NASA said it.
Right. And if we would have came out and said that, if it was the flat earthers, if we were all singing in unison together saying, no, actually the moon is within the Earth's atmosphere, and we started running around saying that like that was absolute truth, we would get laughed off the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like anytime we make a claim of any sort, there will be all kinds of debunking videos. They would be calling us idiots, fools. You're all a bunch of dumb religious zealots or whatever. There y'all go talking about that firmament stuff again.
Yeah.
we would be catching it if it was
Right.
us saying that the moon was within the Earth's atmosphere and trying to like make that a widespread thing. They would.
Right.
I'm saying that, but since it's NASA or the ESA, that was the European
Right.
Space Agency that came out with that.
Which are
Since
all
they determined it
minions of NASA. All of them are minions of NASA.
exactly, because
Yeah.
NASA's the biggest one, and I mean they're all just like kind of
Right.
as it were. Or but
I
yeah,
mean, yeah. I mean, it's just amazing how there's no dissension amongst the ideas of there, and if it is, it's majorly suppressed, and that by itself shows it can't be trusted. If the narrative is this is how it is, everybody, to include the peon minions, the the space geeks, all accept it.
yeah,
Earlier today, I was listening to Brother Sanchez go with Greater Sapien. I sat there for an hour listening to Greater Sapien try to justify Neil deGrasse's terms of the Earth being a pear versus a oblate spheroid versus a sphere. He just had to defend one of his disciples. He had to defend one of his priests in his religion. He
yep,
couldn't just say, this guy is retarded. It makes no sense. It doesn't reflect any pictures we've ever shown. He sat there for over an hour trying to convince Sanchez that it was a legitimate statement because he said it.
I
Because
saw that.
Neil Tyson said it. So therefore, it was technically, scientifically accurate. He said that verbatim.
Yep.
Instead of just saying the guy misspoke or saying that the guy is wrong. They fear going against each other. They
Right,
do.
because I guess they feel like, well, they're, I mean, and rightly so, if they do at some point go against their scientism priest, that, yeah, that's going to be saved on a video and people are going to be able to go back and say, aha, here's when Jerry went back and he actually disagreed with Neil deGrasse Tyson. And then, I mean, that'll be in different,
Right.
in different videos. And yeah, that probably would, um, not so much make them look bad, but that'll cast doubt into the whole situation. So yeah, I mean, as ridiculous as the claims may be, and I think there was one point where didn't he say that Neil deGrasse Tyson said it, he was being flippant, and he was kind of joking, or he said it
Right.
jokingly. I'm like, well, wait a minute, because he went along and further said that, well, yeah, I'm kind of pear shaped too, but
Right. They're
what I
they're
mean,
they're more interested in appearing to have a unified front or sticking to the narrative than the truth. It's not about the truth with these people.
no,
It really isn't. And the reason I'm bringing this up, when I was talking to Tim Osmond today, he was ridiculing me because we have all arguing amongst ourselves in the flat earth. I said, well, we are a bunch of independent thinkers in flat earth. And we are way smaller than you guys, and we argue amongst ourselves. You guys make up the majority of the country, and you're all on the same sheet of music.
that sounds like
Why?
some cult stuff to me.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's crazy when you really think about it. You got to think of the millions and millions of people that follow the ideas of theoretical science in NASA. Nobody disagrees. Disagree publicly.
Right.
It's how can they possibly have the truth? Possibly have the truth is if their elite authority is 100% accurate.
Yep.
Because the information isn't coming out of the people that make up those ideas, it's coming from the authority down. So those who receive that information are not challenging it, not authenticating it, not using discernment, not using critical thinking. They are just absorbing whatever the authority tells them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's that.
yeah, I'm sorry. What?
Oh no, I was just gonna say that's the logical fallacy of appealing to consensus, basically.
Right. Or authority. Yeah.
Yeah,
Consensus
appealing
or
to
authority.
consensus. Yep. The smart people said it, so it must be true. I'm too lazy to
Right.
do my thinking on my own. I'm not gonna go do the experiments. I'm not gonna go make the observations. I'm not gonna gather the data for myself. The smart people figure that out, so that's what it is. And you're disagreeing, so you're an idiot. Basically, that's kind of where they're
Exactly.
at with it.
Exactly.
Yep,
And because we challenge things, therefore we're less intelligent. It's amazing how they twist that around. When
that's
really the
crazy.
opposite is true. If you're following just because someone says so, that that makes you less intelligent. You don't have to think. You don't have to do anything. You just go along. You're a slave. You're literally a slave. You're a mental slave. I don't know. I just like this Hubble thing we just talked about, right?
Hmm.
Who challenged that? What scientific community person challenged that? Well, they just did a super Hubble. Well, how did they do that? How did they make it 120 times better than the old Hubble? What did they do? I mean, why don't they ask those type of questions?
Well,
I don't,
I believe they just assume that as time goes by, that technology or technological advancements take place and progress. So they're just like, well, yeah, it's 2019. The Hubble's 20 years old or whatever. So of course they can come up with a better Hubble now. I mean, think about the cars that were available in 2000 versus the cars that are available now. Think about the phones that were available in 2000 versus the phones that are available now. So
right.
it's just an automatic assumption that, yeah, of course they have a super Hubble now. It's 2019, of course. Come on,
But
that's
the problem is on Earth, what do we have that can compare to the old Hubble?
aha,
Do
aha.
we have anything that we use on the private sector or in the military that is as powerful as the original Hubble telescope?
Nope.
So it's nothing tangible about that. It's completely intangible. You must blindly accept it and trust it.
Yeah,
So the thing that can compare to the Hubble has now been increased by 120 times. And they
yeah.
sold it to the public and people believe it and accept it. It's crazy.
And they're going to continue believing it, and they're going to continue to accept it because that's what the smart people said.
Mm.
And this is what we wrestle against on a regular basis. It's just us trying to think for ourselves, man. It's us trying to think for ourselves versus people who are saying that the smart people figured it out. So stop
Right,
asking questions. You know,
right.
that's what they do, man.
Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy.
shoot. All right, so here we up on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, here let's check out this other one. This one's ridiculous. I saw this the other day, and yeah, I just wanted to share this one. Okay, and this is from February 28th. It says peekaboo. Astronomers spot a medium black hole hiding in an interstellar gas cloud. This is just the other day. Um, and
Okay.
there was something I was looking for. I promise it said something along the lines of they discovered a black hole in our solar system. I'm like, wait a minute. Wasn't there a lot of controversy a few years ago, or yeah, a few years ago about whether or not we will be able to continue to sustain life if there were a black hole in our solar system? Well, this might be the story, but here, let me see. Astronomers have spotted a medium-sized black hole hiding or trying to hide out in a gas cloud, providing a new method to search for hidden black holes. So, a medium-sized black hole. So there's large black holes, there's medium-sized black holes, and then there's small black holes. Just in case you didn't know, everybody.
Hold on, you said it's medium-sized hose, small hose, and large hose?
Yeah, there's got to be, because I mean they just spied a medium black hole, so there must be super massive black holes, and there must be a smaller black hole in comparison. So some way or another, they were able to measure black holes to determine that this is a medium black hole.
I used to know a big hole one time. I knew a little hole too. I knew a medium-sized hole too. I know a lot of holes in my life.
Oh man, gotta love it.
And the ironic part is they were all black.
God dang it, man! Come on. All right. Oh, jeez. All right.
Oh my God! Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is that video right there going to show this black hole?
I don't think so. Let me see. No, this is Epic's Rome Ranch reintroducing bison to regenerate Austin's agriculture. No. We don't.
So my question is, how do you spot a black hole? Like,
oh no,
is it like is planets like being sucked into it or something?
Oh well. Here's an artist impression of the gas cloud right here. You know.
Oh, an artist impression, not a real picture.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we couldn't get a real picture, or we'd have our satellites sucked up by the medium-sized black hole.
Oh,
my goodness. So is this the black hole right here hiding out? Is that what it's supposed to be in the gas cloud?
No, that's a flying saucer coming out of a cave or something. That's what I feel.
But wait. I mean, bro, look, you know how to spot a black hole. You've done this before.
That part is definitely true, but it ain't always.
All right.
Oh
all right. Yeah, let me see. Yeah,
so
this is comedy. Let me see. Hold on. Of course, we don't really see any black holes. So they just admit it right here. Of course, we don't really see any black holes. Like, man, come on. Come on, man. All right. Astronomers infer their existence from the effects of their gravity. That their effect has on gravity, has on other objects. That's why it's quite easy to spot a supermassive one, but not so simple to see smaller black holes. So it's a lot easier to spot the supermassive black holes, but not so much the medium-sized black holes. The current theory, of the growth and evolution of black holes is that smaller ones eventually merge and grow into larger ones. Scientists have seen small black holes with mass of about 5 times that of the sun. And wait, so hold on, a small black hole. Let me reread this. Scientists have seen small black holes with masses about 5 times that of the sun, and supermassive ones that are millions of times bigger than our star. Okay. Wow.
A million times.
Million times bigger than the sun.
Wow. Well, you gotta educate this stupid person. What is a black hole again?
Well, I mean, we don't really know what a black hole is. We're just able to determine that black holes exist based on the effects of the gravity of the black holes.
But I that was the definition of gravity.
I mean, nah, man. Nah, gravity is the definition of the definition of gravity is the curvature of space-time. That's Einsteinian sort of way, as Neil said.
Oh, okay.
That's what that is. So it's like dropping a bowling ball on a trampoline. That's a black hole? You drop. Yeah, like the bowling ball in the middle of the trampoline would create the black hole, and then you drop some other balls in there, like on the trampoline, like some pool balls, the billiard balls, and then all those balls are going to eventually end up going to the black hole.
So space is like a fabric.
I think that's what they say.
Kind of like spandex.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Hey, I'm saying just watching the gravity, man. You gotta check the gravity because we got these clouds out here. Okay, the gas clouds, and then you in the middle you got the black hole. See the swirling gas clouds that we observe from millions of miles away, as seen as depicted here. Okay, this is just an artist rendering, but we see this stuff all the time. We don't have any real pictures of it, but this is what we observe. See the swirling right here, that indicates that there is a black hole right there. That's what causes the swirling, uh based on the gravity out in space and whatnot.
So
Yep.
how do you have a gas cloud in a vacuum?
Gravity, man. That's all I got. That's all I got. I can't do it. I can't go past that with this knuckle. I'm saying, man. my man, Gartrell McKinney, appreciate you, sir. Said human vegan got me laughing like crazy. Good dude, because this is comedy. This is comedy.
Oh
Now,
my
this is some
god!
Bob Ross stuff right here.
Oh my god! Black
Yeah,
holes
man.
and the gas that. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So
It, it's
so
it's a
what?
lot to digest. It's a lot to digest.
So
Our,
can a black hole pick us up or something? Can we die? Is the world coming to an end? What's going on?
I mean, yeah, but the suction of the black hole with everything, in its proximity, it works kind of slow. It doesn't work quite as fast as the bowling ball and the trampoline. We just use the bowling ball and the trampoline, and then the billiard balls as an example of how it works. It's just a visual illustration of how the whole system works out in space. That's how gravity works out in space. That's not exactly how it works here on Earth, but out in space, that's what's up.
So they got different types of gravity. They got gravity in space, and they got gravity on the Earth.
Yes. So I
Okay.
mean, at least that's well. No, I mean it's all the same. You see, because out in space, gravity it creates this suction, right? It's a really slow suction.
How can you have suction
So
with gas?
um, well,
Wouldn't that gas
you
get
know,
sucked? Gas is kind of like like a fog, right? So the fog came into a big gush of wind, wouldn't it dissipate? How could it still
well,
form in a vacuum?
I mean, it's also been determined that these black holes are closer to these other planets. Now, since they're found to be closer to these other planets that happen to be so much larger than the Earth, you have to understand that now that we figured out that the Earth's atmosphere extends so much further than the Moon. Okay, that also brings into question the proximity of the atmosphere on these other planets. Okay, so you look at a supermassive planet like I don't know, Saturn, Venus, Mercury, something like that.
All right. Divine understanding of the universe without leaving the Earth. Come on, y'all. All right, D, you back?
Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
All
I'm
right.
saying,
I'm gonna stop asking dumb questions because I'm supposed
I,
to just accept. I'm supposed to accept and go along. I will accept and go along. I promise.
yeah, because that's what the smart people said, man. So gravity. That's what it is. That's all. That's all that it is.
Yeah. They call us stupid.
I know, right? It's rough times out here. Let me
Tim
see.
Osmond got so mad at me, he just hung up on me while I was on his live stream.
Wow.
How you gonna hang up on the guy that's on your live stream?
Right.
It's
Like what?
crazy.
Yeah, what's going on with that? Let me see. I'm all right, yeah, here. Do 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 do. So, I mean, what exactly had him so triggered that he had to hang up on you? Like what part?
Well, he has the traditional. Over the years, he's developed all these arguments against flat Earth, and he knows that when he speaks to me, he can't use those arguments because I don't follow or cater to some of the same ideas other flat earthers um, uh, are talk about. You start talking about the model, I put my hands up and say I ain't got a model. You know, you start talking about um, uh, the stars. I don't talk about the stars. I'm more of a realist. I'm all about what we can show and prove. And whenever he talks to me, he doesn't know how to talk to me on that level. So what he does is he kind of acts like a Bob or a Jaron or somebody is sitting right next to me, and he starts talking to them. And I'm like, dude, I'm right here. Focus on me. You know what I mean? And because those guys are more scientific and they talk his lingo. And he tries that with me and he gets frustrated because I'm like, dude, just because you say it's true, it doesn't make it true. Let's do a joint experiment. Let's see if it's true and we all agree. And he just gets frustrated. But we already know this to be true. We all know this. We know that. I said, well, if you think you know it, you that's on you. But I don't trust you. I don't believe you. I say those kind of things, and he gets so pissed. He gets so pissed. He wants me to trust him so bad. His ego tells him that I am speaking absolute truths, and whoever hears me must instantly trust me because that's the way the scientific community operates. If you sound intelligent and you regurgitate the things they say, instantly you're supposed to accept them. But because I say, dude, you terrorize flat earthers, you shut down their live streams.
Right.
You've been doing it for years. I don't trust you. And when I say that, he gets mad, he loses it, and then he hangs up.
I
So
mean, I, I mean, those are facts, though. I mean, we know that he's out porn bombing people. We know that he's out, recording people's screen when things go sideways and whatnot. We know that he's been, those are known troll. We know that, so
right,
of course we're not gonna trust him. So he can't really
right,
be mad at that. Like, dude, you're one of the most popular trolls in the flat Earth community. So no, we don't trust you.
exactly. And his ego is so bruised when I say that he becomes frustrated and he runs. I mean, he literally runs like a little girl, like runs away. I'm like, dude, where you going? Let's have this grounded in reality discussion. And you can go off to the stars all you like. I'm just gonna bring you back to the ground. That's what I do with all globe earthers. They run off. Well, the equinox says this, and they say. You know what else bothers me about a lot of these globe Earth arguments when they start
What's that?
talking about the cosmos and stuff? They quote NASA and European scientists like Kepler and Galileo and Copernicus and all those guys. But much of what those guys presented, like the prediction of, let's say, Halley's Comet or whatever, it came from the ancients. They were making the predictions back then. The more modern day science just grabbed that data and added it to their field of study. And when I mentioned that, he got angry about that too. I'm like, dude, y'all didn't really discover anything. How could you have made predictions that have been occurring for the last 100 years
True.
on record? That means someone before NASA did this. Someone before modern day theoretical science did this. So when you start talking about the predictability of things like eclipses and stuff like that, that all came from the ancients
Right.
because they were the ones that plotted that. And they plotted it and they worked out the consistency of when an eclipse is going to happen and stuff like that. And guess who stole it? Europeans.
Boom.
And now they take credit for it as if they discovered the means of knowing when eclipses are going to occur. The ancients were doing it 1,000 years ago.
Right. I mean, that's what they used to do. Is I mean, there wasn't a whole lot going on, so there would be people who dedicated their lives to watching the stars.
Exactly. And they would map out the stars. All that information carried over to this new European, Western education, theoretical science. All they did was gather up all the old stuff, and now they're starting to add stuff to it. That's all they're
Yeah,
doing. And the stuff that they take credit for, they didn't even come up with.
that's what I'm saying. Now,
You know?
and that's one of those things that don't even make sense when they start talking about stars, constellations, and all that. And there was some dude trolling me the other day talking to me about constellations and all that. Why is it that when I go out, I'll go out and watch stars and I'll see the constellations and it'll move this way, and then I go out like the next night and then I don't see the star. I'm like, wait a minute, dude. Look, here's the one thing that gets me. How is it that they believe so deeply in this whole spinning ball, flying through space, orbiting around the sun, and all that, but will sit here and argue with you about stars when they won't even acknowledge the fact that we should have a different night sky every single night? If we're,
Every
but
every
I mean, we've all been seeing the same constellation since we were babies. Since you were a kid, you've been seeing Orion's Belt, the Big Dipper. If we didn't see anything else in the sky, you would be able to identify the Big Dipper, Little Dipper, Polaris. We've been seeing the same stars
right,
all this
right.
time for all of recorded history, and they won't acknowledge that. Oh no, that you don't understand how far away they are. Now my
It,
thing.
that
Oh, go ahead,
explains
go
why
ahead.
they that no, I'm just gonna say this one thing. That
Yep.
explains why they can predict it, because that's what they've seen. The ancients seen the sky the same damn way we see it today.
Yeah,
So they want credit for stuff that other people have done. I don't get it, man. It just blows my mind. That's come I never talk about it, because I'm like, dude, y'all don't know nothing. You're just going off other people. They did the work. They actually had people sitting out there watching the sky. And now they're watching the sky, and guess what? Nothing's changing. It's still the same thing. Now
yeah.
they supposedly have these telescopes in outer space and satellites and all this and all that. And I'm like, how come your information isn't more accurate now? You're still regurgitating Halley's Comet and the eclipses and stuff like that.
Man,
Where's the new concrete information?
well, I mean, we got the new concrete. We're making discoveries now, just like that whole, Earth's atmosphere.
Black hole.
and,
We had a
and,
black
and,
hole.
in about 6 years, we're gonna have Super Hubble sending back all kinds of new, fresh pictures, and
Hold up.
you
Didn't
know,
they say they found 7 new planets in the solar system or something? Or
oh
was it?
man, they're always here. They're always saying that we found more planets, we found more galaxies, more solar systems, but they always say, but it's so many light years away that you're going to be long dead before we can actually get there. We got to send more probes out to these habitable planets to see if they can actually sustain life. We're all going to be dead by the time any of that stuff actually happens. We're going to colonize Mars in like 2058. You know what I'm saying? They
Well,
always push. They always kick it down the road, man.
I got a question. Can they fly drones indefinitely, and let's say airplanes, helicopters, unmanned? Can they fly them pretty much indefinitely?
That's what they think, or that's what they got the population believing. Because
Well, no.
I
What I'm
mean
saying,
that
on Earth, can they do that?
on Earth, I don't, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because
Because if they
here
can do it in outer space, they should be able to do it on Earth, right?
they
I
should,
mean,
indeed.
you can put a probe out, and it can go millions of uh, miles away from the Earth. Why can't you put a drone up and have that bitch circle the Earth?
I don't see why not. I mean,
I mean,
well, are we talking about the ISS now?
I was talking about anything that they can, because when I hear a probe is out in outer space, I think of someone has to control it. Someone has to steer it. Someone has to communicate with it. There still
Yeah,
needs to have a connection between the probe and the Earth.
right.
How is that possible? Is it just free falling? Is it just how is it moving faster than everything else around it? Or is it?
Man, well, I'm saying it's like out. I wonder about that too. Like, how are they steering these things? How is it that it hasn't been smashed by some of this stuff out in space? What's the propulsion system?
Right.
How does that work? Who's hitting the button telling these things to take these pictures and
Right.
then send them back?
They need to take
Uh,
yeah. How do they know when they need to take a picture? How do they
yeah,
know they're not hit an asteroid? I
yeah.
mean, what steers it around the asteroid that's coming straight at it? I mean, does it have like some missiles on it and it could destroy stuff as it's going straight or something? A ray gun
Uh,
or something?
I'm
Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
Are these robotic and self-sufficient, or are we manually controlling these universal probes that we send out? How does that work?
I see. Your guess is as good as mine, maybe better than mine. I'm saying, but I'm like, is there some? I wonder the same things about these satellites and these probes, these telescopes, the Hubble, Kepler. I mean, if this is from like 20 years ago, you really want me to believe that they had the technology to program a satellite that could go millions of miles or light years away from the Earth and continuously flying through space? This thing can take these crystal clear images, beam them back to the Earth in however many pixels, and then these people are able to submit these things to the public like, hey, look, this telescope took this picture from this many millions of miles away, and here you go. Yep, it's real. One of our techs was able to navigate this thing from all those miles away with like, what's the delay time? What's the delay time between dude hitting the button to say take a picture, and then bam, the
Right.
the signal actually gets out to the satellite millions of miles away, and then takes a picture, and then beams it back? Like, how does the telescope, or how does the satellite even know how to, like, what direction to send the signal back to beam these pictures?
How how can a signal travel through the void of space in a vacuum?
How can a signal travel through space in the void of a vacuum through the Van Allen radiation belts?
I mean, this stuff. I mean, why don't the scientific community ask these kind of questions, or why do they settle for the answers? I mean, they can't do a due diligence. I don't get it, bro. I don't get
uh,
it. I don't get it, and it just makes me not trust them even more.
yeah,
If they can't ask and challenge their authority, we we need to get some distance, man. It's
true
crazy.
story. True story.
It's crazy. Well, the I was going to say something earlier.
I, I'll be right back. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
go
try
ahead.
to come back in.
Okay. These questions, I don't think they're irrational or unreasonable. I just think that folks need to hold the things we believe accountable for as evidence. We should be saying, hold up, you guys say this. Explain to us how this is possible. I mean, you we don't see evidence of this type of technology anywhere on our plane, but you say it's in outer space. So all you can really go off of is blind faith. I mean, I want to know how they got the Hubble up there. What, they put it on a rocket and shot it up there, and the rocket peeled off, and Hubble kind of is like a telescope and a spaceship. Is that what it is? Is all one big thing?
Well, I'm saying, I think that the scientific community would give us that story as like, okay, so boom, we got the Hubble out here, and no, we got a rocket firing out here, and then we just attach the Hubble to it, or I don't know, maybe they multitask or something. They got a rocket, and they were doing supply run back to the ISS because they're probably running out of food and water at some point to some degree. Maybe they need more laundry detergent. However, they go about staying clean on the ISS, but that's a whole nother situation to wonder about. So I'm thinking they took one of those rockets, attached a satellite, and they'll say, "Okay, we got up to 17,500 miles per hour, so we can dock with the ISS." And then they're like, "Okay, release," and then the telescope or whatever just goes off into the vacuum of space, and then they just continue like that. I'd imagine that's what they would say, but
Yeah.
thinking about contemplating the details of the whole situation,
Yeah.
it
Well,
doesn't make any sense after a little bit.
what you just described, I seen that same movie. I seen that same movie. Yeah, docking. I mean, think about it. It was in Star Wars when they were docking, and two spaceships meet in outer space, and they kind of connect holes, and then you can walk right in. I mean, they sold us on this strategy of what they claim, the sci-fi that they claim now, but they sold it to us first in movies. And now we can all visualize it from movies that we've seen when we were kids. Now they just went live with it. They said,
Yeah,
okay, this is we do it. We do it just like they did in Star Wars.
right.
One chamber meets with another, becomes air pressured, and then the person on this ship can walk into the other. They
Yep.
just and they put the space little helmet on, and they can walk right through. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the movies came before the the NASA missions. So
Right. That's like that reminds me of that movie Interstellar. You seen that one with Matthew McConaughey? How he
right,
was on the thing, and after that explosion, it's like the whole space station it was spinning. So he's on this ship and he's trying to dock with it, and but he's got to turn on the little boosters so he can spin at the same velocity that the space station's spinning, so he can connect the
yeah,
little couplings and all that. And I was
yeah,
like, "Come on, man, really, really?"
yeah. That's
So out
crazy.
there in the vacuum of space, he's just got these little things moving
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
ever so closely. And then, they create the little suction and, just like you said, the little pressurized area. And then he can just, okay, go from the ship back to the space station. I'm like,
yeah.
but
Exactly.
people believe that's really how it's going.
Right. And they sell it to us. They sell it to us, and that's what they want us to believe. And they want us to believe it without question.
Yeah.
That's the key. You can't question it. You just have to believe it. It's crazy.
Compliance is what it's all about. It's all about that
Yeah.
compliance, man. Um, okay. So I talked to you about, yeah, we talked about that podcast, Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, Eddie Bravo. Um,
Yeah.
how that whole thing played out.
Right.
Before we get to that, shout out to Tim Truth. Appreciate you. Says D Marvel and Vegan Warrior. You guys are awesome frontline truth soldiers. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank
Big
you very
thing.
much. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
that's big.
we're just willing to ask questions that we're all asking to some degree, or that people should be asking. Like what?
Yeah.
Uh, You know, I mean, they're gonna have answers because they got answers for everything. But at some point, we just gotta kind of be like, dude, no,
Right.
no,
The
I'm
answers
not buying it.
and if the answers don't make sense, you should have even more disconcernment. You know what I mean? Things that
Yeah,
don't make sense should not be trusted. Is that simple? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know what the big deal is, but they really demonize us for asking questions and challenging an authority. Like when I was in my little debate today, um, I brought up a point, and he said he wanted to ignore the point. I said, at one point in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, doctors endorsed smoking. They encouraged it. They even did TV commercials, and there were doctors on the pack. The Marlboro Man was a doctor. You know what I mean? It was that kind of thing.
hmm
And I said there was a small percentage of doctors during that time that was screaming at the top of their lungs, like, no, no, it causes cancer. No, no, it causes cancer. No, no. And all those doctors were suppressed because the majority of the doctors were making too much money from the tobacco companies. And eventually it came out that all the doctors that were endorsing it turned out to be shills, or they didn't have the public's best interest.
Dang, man.
So we have a history of when we put all our eggs in a basket and we embrace an authority and give them exclusive power over the minds of the public, they're going to abuse it. My question to anyone is NASA in particular a a an exclusive power in our culture? And if not, who are actually challenging them and holding them to task outside of flat earth? And we're really not fighting them. We're fighting their minions. We got to get past their minions to get to them, you know?
Right.
Who's doing that? And the answer, honestly, the more I look at it, is nobody. They can make up any doggone thing they want. They can tell any lie they want because they have public, they have the minds of the public, you know?
Yep.
And I think that's dangerous. I really do.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is. The way that everybody just blindly goes along with this whole narrative. I mean, I mean, it separates us from our own senses. It separates us from reality to a degree because I mean, we'll just it separates us from our own from trusting our own intellect because
Right.
we're taught to trust these authority figures to tell us what's real and what's not. And
Exactly.
without question, you know, that's just how society is these days. And because we step out of the box, we step out of line, and we start asking questions, then we're demonized and, you know, looked at as ignorant. Oh, you need more education. Oh, you mean we need more indoctrination? That's what you mean.
Exactly.
But
We got to go
but
to
we're
the indoctrination camps.
yeah. That's basically what they're saying. You need to go back to school. I'm like, well, dude, we've been there. A lot of us have been through the school system. We went through the same school system as you. We were indoctrinated with the same stuff. Here's what they seem to keep forgetting, and we got to remind these people of this. We used to believe in the globe too. The
Right.
only thing is, we broke the mind control program and started thinking for ourselves and looking around like, wait a minute,
Right.
we're moving a
Right.
1,000 miles per hour. I don't feel anything. Look up. Wait a minute. So wait a minute. 1,000 miles per hour? Shouldn't there be some winds going? I mean, if the Earth is spinning so fast, I mean, because you know, you look at these hurricanes and the wind's blowing like 150 miles per hour. There's houses being torn to shreds. There's trees
Yep.
coming out of the ground. It's like you cannot live through that type of situation, especially if you like, well, you can't be outside. You can't be outside when the wind's blowing
Well,
150
D,
miles per hour. You will be dead.
well,
You
D,
would be.
you got to take it even further. Not only do they say the land or the globe is moving 1,000 miles per hour, they will argue that the atmosphere is moving along with the actual ball. They're arguing that it's an enclosed system. So
Right.
you're right. Not only is the land moving 1,000 miles per hour, the atmosphere is moving 1,000 miles per hour. Now, the problem with that is, and I always ask this question, and they start backpedaling, they start tripping all over themselves, they start looking for NASA quotes to back up their cognitive dissonance. I always ask them, what about the clouds? If the atmosphere is velcroed to the earth and it's moving as if the earth is moving, why are the clouds doing its own thing? How can the clouds defy the spin of the earth if the atmosphere is attached to the globe? No, you can sit out and watch clouds, some moving this way, some moving that way. No one's going in, nothing in the sky goes the same way.
No,
Nothing.
never.
So so how can the atmosphere spin with the earth? It makes no sense.
Man,
And
look,
they won't even look into it.
no, no, and that's one of those things that bugs me. It's just some simple stuff, and that, again, hey, the smart people figured it out. Leave it alone. That's all. That's all they'll keep saying to us, basically, and they'll just repeat what the educated people already said, and just we're supposed to just go with it. Well, I'm sorry, it doesn't make any sense. So,
Now,
logical.
this is the crazy part. Vegan Warrior and D Marble says, you know
Uh,
what? We're going to get educated too. And we go back to university and we get our PhDs and do everything that they want us to do to be credible people, right? We now have PhDs, but we're still flat earthers. The moment we say anything about flat earth, our PhD will be discredited. They won't listen to one damn thing we say. Why? Because it's going against the authority. So even if you have credentials, they don't care. Your credentials mean nothing if you're speaking against the authority. So
facts.
we can go to some PhDs. That actually is not that hard. People think getting a PhD is a big thing. It depends on what your PhD is on, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I got a master's. So if I wanted to go a little further in my field of study, I just got a little more work to do, right? I can extend another 4 years of my life and I could probably get a PhD relatively simple over time, right? 4 years would be a long time.
Right.
You can get a PhD in basket weaving. You get a PhD in underwater aerobics. You can get a PhD in almost anything now. You know what I mean? The bottom line is a PhD means nothing if it's not grounded in reality. If it's not grounded in reality, all you did was master your field of study of whatever was taught to you. You did not necessarily become intelligent. You did not necessarily become smart about the world around us. That's the bottom line. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Oh no. Oh no. That's what it is, and they'll rely on that PhD to, and it really doesn't matter. They'll be like, somebody with a PhD said this. Okay, well, I guess that means we should trust them. I'm like, where's the evidence though?
Your three-play set of PhD in black holes.
Was that us? Was that us? Did we just earn that one with all these inquiries about these black holes? Good Lord, man. What I was what I was trying to say. Yeah, Alex Jones. He was he was trying to go in on Eddie Bravo when he was talking about flat Earth.
Right.
Alex Jones, he actually sat there and said that he would offer to pay for a trip for Eddie Bravo to was it go to space or go to the edge? It was one of those. I think he said go to the edge. Trip to Antarctica. He was talking about putting Eddie on a boat, sending him to the ice wall or whatever.
Okay.
So now what I'm saying, or what I'm thinking, if we consider big news from 2018, one of those big news items we can all recall is this guy that's been stalking me for a while. The one that was talking to Sanchez a little earlier today. This guy says that Homo sapien. He was he took those people's money last year. Remember that? He collected that $19,000.
No, I didn't. What did he do?
Oh man, there was a pole to pole flight that was supposed to be taking place in like October last year.
Oh, that was him?
Yeah, that was him. He was the one. He collected. Yeah, he started a GoFundMe or something like that, and yeah, he collected like $19,600 something like that, almost $20,000 to take this trip, this pole to pole flight. And let me see, his contact fell off. He went to the website to go check what was going on. The website, the link was broken, and the site was just gone. So he had paid all this money from all these people that he collected, got scammed out of it, and the Globe team, they're not saying anything about it. Now,
are you serious?
Yeah, that happened. I did a short video about it. It was hilarious. I'll send you a link after this. I'll send you a link.
What's his title? Great Sapien? Is that what he calls himself?
He calls himself Greater Sapien.
Oh, greater safety. So he was the guy that came up with the 19 grand for the flight
Yes.
from Singapore. That was him.
Yeah, that was him.
And people never got their money back.
No, sir. They did not get their money back.
You are lying.
No, that
I,
happened.
I, I thought that was like the guy from Virgin Galactic or somebody who put that together.
Nah.
It was
Nah.
Greater Sapien?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was him. It was him. And I had to make a video clowning him. Of course, I had to. But I'm saying, Mister Think Critically.
How,
I don't think he ever. I don't think he paid back those people. I don't think that ever happened.
well, how do we know he didn't keep the money?
We
You know,
don't.
I'm an investigator. I'm ready to go. I mean, you know, I like to follow the money. Who
Hey,
bank account?
that
You mean to tell me this guy took people's money and before he closed the deal, he gave people money to a third party? Is that what I'm supposed to believe?
yes, sir.
You. Where the hell have I been?
I don't know. I thought that was some pretty big news. I'm saying
Yeah,
this dude, one of the biggest mouths in the globe community, old dude that's always making videos about me,
yeah.
collected money from a lot of globe believers and maybe some flat earthers, while flat earthers were in the comments saying, dude, you are not going to be able to take this flight. Look, we're supposed to be retarded. We're supposed to be uneducated. We're supposed to be fools over here. And flat earthers were in the comments saying, dude, you're not going on this flight. They sat here and put in a caveat, a little note at the bottom of it saying that they weren't going to allow anybody to take any instruments or, any
Yeah,
tools to measure or
yeah, I remember
yeah,
that. You couldn't record or nothing.
yeah, yeah. So we're not going to be allowing any of that stuff. Is what that caveat said. And we were in the comments. Well, I wasn't. I was just sitting back watching. Like, let me see what happens here. And people were saying you're not going to be able to take that flight because there is no circumnavigating north to south. There's the Antarctic Treaty, dude. You're not going to take that flight. It ain't happening. And this was supposed to be this big thing. It was like a one time only event, and it cost freaking $19,000 to get the business class seat. That's what everybody paid for them to be in business class. And
Hold on. You're telling me one individual was 19,000. How many people signed up for this scam?
I don't know how many signed up for the scam,
Oh
but
wow.
what we do know is that Mr. Critical Thinker did get scammed out of about $20,000. A solid 19 stacks.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. How we know he didn't do that? He was the one behind the scam.
Yeah. And that's why I've been calling him Greater Charlatan.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man.
I'm telling you, I just heard of this guy for the first time maybe a week ago.
Man,
Maybe
where have you been?
When he did the hit piece on Behind the Curve, that was the first time I ever seen that guy.
Yeah.
He did a video on that.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
first
man.
time I ever seen that. Never paid attention to him, never listened to nothing he said. I remember you talking about someone who was stalking you, but I never really thought about who it was. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's the stalker. The guy that got scammed out of those people's money, that's the stalker.
And
Now,
he's a
my
brother.
question is,
And he's a brother.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Because I heard him say that he was 50. Wow.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, this is brand new news. This is brand new news to me. Everybody in the chat like, you didn't know, vegan?
Right. they're like, bro, where you been? I'm saying,
I don't pay attention to those guys, man, at all. I really don't. Until they come to me. They never come to me. Yeah.
So one, he never really disclosed the third party, but two, my thing is the globe community is not saying anything else about that flight. If he was able to collect the money and go through this third party company that was supposed to be setting this up, why is it that the globe community hasn't come up with the money and decided to send somebody else, maybe him, on that flight over the poles? I mean, is that not even available? You know what I
Is this
mean? Like,
guy like influential, like Wolfie and some of the other guys over
he's made a name for himself by constantly talking about me. Actually,
there? Wow, I did not know any of
clout.
this.
Yes, this is called clout chasing. He's a
Right.
pro. He's a pro
I
at that.
wonder, I wonder if Sanchez knew that when he talked to him today. Did he know that
Uh,
this was a flight?
I don't know. I don't
Because
know.
I didn't hear it come up. They were arguing when I broke off from listening to them. They were talking about the oblate spheroid thing.
Yeah, yeah. And then at the end, Sanchez was saying that they came to had an agreement before the stream that they would kind of keep it civil and wouldn't turn it into like a heated debate or more of a discussion. So, um, that's why he didn't like go in on him. So he was trying to keep his word, uphold his end of the deal. So that's why
Right.
he was trying to, go a little easy on him. But my thing is, why isn't the Globe community trying to do that flight?
Right.
Why,
Good point.
like, if they can, if this
That's
one dude can collect, yeah, I'm saying if that was supposed to be the killer of flat Earth, taking that flight, why don't they, heck, one guy was able to pull up the $19,000. I mean, shoot, they should be able to charter their own plane, get their own pilot. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on now.
It's hard for me to believe they took people's money and didn't give it back. That's really hard for me to believe.
Man,
like I know it wasn't flat earthers that paid for that, so it would have had to been people that wanted to just take the flight or globe earthers, right? So
yeah.
how do you know that he actually received money for the flight?
I'm saying
Did
he was put
he
he was given he was giving updates. People were in the chat, talking about how it was some people who were pissed. They were like, "Hey, I want my money back."
For real? Okay.
Some people, yeah, real
Oh,
talk.
well.
But I'm saying, man, it was it was a
Okay.
situation. It was a situation. I'm wondering
Wow.
why they don't take that flight, or while we're on it, Alex Jones put up the offer to take Eddie Bravo out there. He said he's already got the money to do that run out to the ice wall or whatever. Why don't they take him up on that? Like, I don't know, why don't some people from Flat Earth get in contact with Alex Jones? Like we could go do it like a joint expedition,
Yeah, that's what I've
I
been
mean,
talking
that
about. I mean,
yeah, and I heard you talking about that. So I
yeah,
wanted to bring that up.
Alex Jones is such a damn shill. It's ridiculous. I wouldn't believe nothing that guy said. I mean, he put up the
Mm-mm.
money. Yeah, we take his money and go. You know what I mean? But
Well,
I, I,
I'm saying he
I
was in
would
there like I think he was just talking though. He might have just been talking because they was in there, drinking, smoking.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he might have been lit while he was just talking, trying to shut
Dude,
up Eddie
dude have
Bravo.
a hairpiece on? Dude have a hairpiece on? Alex Jones.
Alex Jones?
Yeah, wasn't that a
I don't know.
hairpiece?
It looks like a hairpiece.
Yeah, it looked crazy.
Yeah, straight up, man. It looks like a sew in. So he might have a little glue on his scalp or something like that. It's hard
Wow.
to tell, man. All
Yeah.
right. Another shout out. Gartrell McKinney said D Marvel and Vegan Warrior right on with Friday night intelligent live stream. Thank you. Sure appreciate it, man. Just
We
just chatting
we not
about these things.
we not stupid. We not intelligent. We stupid. They said we dumb.
Yeah. Cause we don't believe the smart people.
Oh yeah, we dumb.
Oh no. Not at
If
all.
I get
Not at
a
all.
damn email talking about how dumb I am, I'm like, dude, really? You're gonna send me an email? They send me an email to say you're dumb.
Man,
You're
bro,
dumb because you don't, globe Earth. You're dumb. You're this. You're that. I'm like, really, really. And
bro,
you know what I always respond?
what's
If you
that?
say so. I always respond. If you say so, smile, and I send it back to them. It's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
I need to do like a auto response of some sort. Bro, I got a website that's got like a chat feature, so people can send me direct messages. It's got a phone number on there, my Google Voice number. Like anybody
Right,
could call me at any time and
right.
say something stupid. Now I don't answer private calls anymore. You know,
Right.
if you're gonna call me, you know, and talk some stuff, you know, don't start 68 or star 67
Yeah.
and call from a private number because I'm not gonna answer. You
Right.
know, so it's people, bro. I get emails, messages, and I get a phone call every now and then from somebody talking some stuff. I'm like, man, look. So
And a lot of
it's
them come at you like they're gonna save you. Like they want to kind of like kind of like somebody that want to get you baptized. You know what I mean? And like, come on, Curtis. I think you're a really nice guy, and I agree with 90% of what you say. If I could just get you to believing in this globe Earth, I would really like you. Come on, Curtis. I mean, I get those kind of things. I'm like, dude, really, really? Nah, it don't work that way. I don't drink anybody's Kool-Aid. I'm not joining the Jim Jones cult of scientism. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. And
yeah,
but I get those kind of emails where they want me to. They're trying to appeal to me, and at the same time befriend me, so they can convince me that the Earth is a globe. I'm like,
yeah,
so either they're insulting me or they're patronizing me.
yeah. They're trying to bring you back into the fold.
Right, right. It's
I'm,
crazy.
I'm saying it's like we left the cult. We left the cult, and they're just trying to get us back, or they're just viciously attacking for having left the cult in the first place.
Exactly, exactly. It's crazy.
I don't know, man.
All right,
Sure.
we're getting to the end, right? Or you got
All
more?
right. Yeah, that's all I got as far as those topics.
Okay, so you want to address the elephant in the room, the argument, the Bob screaming, Curtis, vegan warriors
Yeah,
screaming, blah blah
yeah.
blah 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 and a blah. You, I think that's what the
Yeah.
and
Let's do
we're
this
going to
thing.
talk about it one time, and then we're never going to talk about it again. You agree?
I like it. Let's go.
All right. Um, if I said I wanted to apologize, I probably would be lying because I don't think this is about apologies. I think it's more so about misunderstanding of people's intent. You know, I think um, I have in my mind, if it's true or not, Bob had an intent, and I think he had in his mind that I had an intent. So if those intentions are accurate enough or not, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. So I can't say that I want to apologize to him. I will say that I wish the conversation would have went a little more productive. Um, I don't want to have another conversation with him. If he wants it, I'll definitely do it. You know me, I take on any challenge or any invitation. I'm never going to say no to anything when it comes to this crucial topic of flat Earth.
Right.
Um, I don't see it, and I know a lot of people do see it this way. I don't see it as something we didn't need. I think we do need um, to challenge one another. Now, maybe we need to challenge one another in a more positive way or in a more productive way. I can say it that way. But personalities are personalities, temperaments are temperaments. I see a lot that I could have done better, but at the same time, I seen other things that others did that I didn't appreciate. So the bottom line is, it happened. It's over with. I can't bank on it won't happen again. If I said that, I would be lying.
Right.
Knowing me, depending on who I'm talking to and the situation and whatever in the environment. But I will say that I wish it would have went in a better way. Now, let me say this about Bob. I don't think he's an agent. Now I'm saying thinking. Now if he is, he is. But I don't think he's an agent. I don't think he was deliberately shilling. What I do think is that he was extremely stupid. Now, I don't know if that's going to make him feel better or worse or whatever the case is. I just think there was a lack of consideration for what he represented, if he liked it or not. Despite what they think, Jaron, Bob, even Patricia, some of these other, Mark, when they speak to the world looks at them as if they're speaking on behalf of the flat earth community. I know many of them don't want that, but that's what's been bestowed upon them. And when they do these things, they have to understand that there will be a backlash if they say something that could hurt all of us. Now, that backlash may not necessarily come from me, it may come from other people, because I wasn't the only one criticizing this, but I probably was one of the most vocal. Um, all I want is for us to understand that what we do in the flat earth community is a reflection of how we're going to be perceived in the world. And I know that's a lot of responsibility for people. You know, some people don't want that responsibility, just want to be themselves and just want to go through life the way they want. But you are part of a unique minority. We are unique. We are not like many of the people that just go along. So with that comes responsibility. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't made mistakes. I haven't said things out of context or whatever. Um, we all live and learn, but I think we also need to be open to feedback from others, especially when it's coming out of your own community. A lot of our clash between Bob and I has to do with the two personalities. I'm aggressive. He's sort of passively aggressive. We're both older. We have a little bit of intolerance um, for others, I guess, in being, what's the word I'm looking for? Intolerance for, let's say, disrespect. And when we feel disrespected, we're going to lash back out. I felt like I was disrespected. He felt like he was disrespected. And that's why we lashed out at each other. And that's pretty much how it went down. So as far as the community is concerned, fights happen. Brothers and sisters fight. That's the realities of this world. You lived in a household with your brother, older, younger sibling, or whatever, not in a fight, you came from a dysfunctional family. Because brothers fight. Now, because I take this approach of being what, quote unquote, a realist, I'm not politically correct, because I think that's part of our problem. I don't want to be politically correct for you guys. I don't be politically correct in front of the public. I want to speak truth. And I want people to hear it the way it is. I think we're in this structured world where if you're not saying things a certain way, or not acting a certain way, or not looking a certain way, you're wrong. I'm against that. If I have something on my mind and I want to share it, I'm going to say it. That's how I live my life. That's how I am in real life and even on this internet stuff. So if people don't like that, I think they probably should keep their distance from me, because I'm that kind of individual. I'm going to always speak my mind. I'm going to always share my opinion, if you like it or not. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
What I will do is, like in the case of the argument between me and Bob, what I will do is say I will try to show more restraint, because what I shouldn't have done is actually came on the panel, because those guys were already on, they were already building, they were already talking, and Bob said something that triggered me, that made me join the panel. I shouldn't have let that trigger occur, because this is our show. This is me and D Marble's show. Well, this is D Marble's show, and I'm his co-host. So I shouldn't have let something that a guest said trigger me to come on. I do regret that aspect of it. But overall, when there's a fight, Vegan Water is showing up for a damn fight, if y'all like it or not. So you can take my apology, if you want to call that bullshit an apology, with a grain of salt. That's my opinion. Go ahead, D. I can't hear you.
While you were
Can
talking.
Okay, go ahead.
Good. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to shout out Rambo Jambo. Appreciate you. Said a few more coconut juice on me. Much love and respect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, I agree with what you were saying, man. You know, we all have different personalities. We're not always gonna see things the same way. And you know, like I had told you, or like I said on Bro Sanchez stream, I think it was either last week or the week before. Um, I didn't know you and Bob beefing. I really didn't. Um, well, let me see. It wasn't in the front of my mind that you all had a situation. Like I said, I had received a message saying that you had been timed out in Glowbusters chat. And I just read it and I was like, oh, okay. And then just moved on because I was in Arkansas at the time. I was traveling. I was either in Arkansas. It was Super Bowl Sunday when that happened. I remember that distinctly. So I'm saying I woke up, went to Pop's church, played some bass. You know what I'm saying? Got to the airport. You know, I'm flying to one place, I'm flying to the next. I end up back in Seattle. So somewhere that day I got that message saying that you had got timed out in the chat. Um so that situation it was on the back burner for me because I didn't know what was going on. I was in the midst of traveling. And then so I wasn't watching that stream when they had it up. I got an alert because I am subscribed to Globebusters, um, but I didn't tune in. They was like Mud Flood Sarteria. I was like, eh, basically. So it wasn't a big deal. Because like I said, man, I thought it was interesting that whole Mud Flood Tartaria thing, but I'm like, it's not a big deal to me. You know, it's not something that I'm just going to be hung up on for a long time. I'm not so much a mud flooder. I see it as something interesting, so I just let that slide. But then you know, you had went live like later that day. Like I said, I'm traveling. I didn't know that you had went live addressing, you know, being timed out and all that. That was totally off my radar. So when Bob came on, um, that was the result of, you know, like you said, you know, you were running late, and you know, I was trying to figure out, you know, something to chat about, and I was just going through my stories quick, and then just rambling, and what I was talking about was this what's on the screen now. This is that personal atmospheric dome that I was talking about. That Bob was explaining on that one video. See, I had got the link to this site from Jaren, and I mean it is pretty cool. When he was talking about it, I played with it earlier. It's like you can adjust your place on the plane. You know, this guy used a flat Earth model. He's like, okay, so here I'm in Africa, and this is the time 1900, and it's like it shows what you're seeing in Africa, the different alignments of the sun, where the moon's going to be traveling, all that stuff. You can adjust the day of the year, and you can see the shadow change. And I mean, I thought he did a really good job with this thing in particular. It's pretty cool. If anybody wants to play with it. But yeah, I had saw that, and I was referring to this particular thing in general. And I'm saying that's why I invited Bob on, because I had saw Bob playing with this thing on his channel and describing what it was, and I was trying to talk my way through it. So I invited Bob on because I saw him in the chat. I was like, oh, I'm just talking about this thing. I see Bob over there, so I'll let him come on to do a presentation. So I think that's pretty cool. This thing, I mean, I messed with it earlier. I was like, this thing's dope, man. You can, you know, make it bigger, make it smaller. You can
I got a
adjust the camera
question.
height and
I
your
got a
position on the plane.
Mike, can you hear me?
What's up?
Did
Yeah.
did this model or this website did this come from a globe earther?
Yeah, that's what he said. I'm not sure. It's like I that's what I heard, that it came from a globe earther, and I'm like, dude, okay, you know.
Right. So basically, they used the globe earther's website to prove a different idea than what they were trying to show. Is that what
Um,
happened?
not so much a different idea, but I mean, this seems to reflect what happens on the flat Earth, in my opinion. Because let me see, let me see if I adjust it to, let me see, let me try to move this thing. Can I? Does it go back? Let me see. Where's this thing go? And move it. What can I? Camera direction. How do I adjust the degrees on this? Okay, yeah. And there it is. Wait, just about. So if this is Alaska, and I'm looking at it like, from when I went to Alaska in June, the way what I saw was how the sun travels in that clockwise circuit, and how it was 24-hour sunlight. So it made sense to me when I was kind of playing with this earlier. Um, that's but this is what I was talking about. I'm not sure what
Hang on.
exactly.
Wouldn't that mean that Alaska would always be in the day?
No, no. That's just this is like if you adjust it to day 161. Like this is I'm looking at it like if June, March, April, May, June. Okay, June's like the 6th month. My bad. So let's move this to
Right, right.
day 190. I don't know, day 201. There you go. So then we'll move that
Okay.
around there, and then it's like in like complete sunlight most of that time. So then if you move it to like later in the year, then I mean that's when Alaska's in that period of darkness. Like in December, so they're catching that complete darkness and like closer to the center. I mean, this is what I was looking at, man. And so I had invited Bob on to talk about that.
Okay.
So having not knowing that
I
y'all had
remember.
a issue.
I remember when you said it. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so I was just showing the chat, what it was. I got that link from Jaron, asking him. I'm like, hey man, you got a link for that at personal atmospheric dome? So, but yeah, man, that whole situation, yeah, I'm saying I could have handled that better because I was like blindsided by the whole thing, and then Bob started popping off talking that stuff to you while you were in the chat. Me personally, I don't like when somebody starts popping off. um while I'm while I'm in the chat, somebody's talking about me on a live stream. I'm like, wait a minute, hey, give me a link, let's talk about this. I end up doing that. So I feel you, I get it. But the thing is, going back looking at that, I wasn't aware that he could turn you down or mute you. I'm like, how does one get to come on to somebody else's stream and then have the controls like that? I didn't. I was unaware of that because I mean, to a degree, I'm still rookie in certain situations. Like how many panels have you seen me do on this channel?
Right. Yeah, you just click on
Like,
the person's face and then you do the drop down arrow.
yeah. See, I'm saying I'm like I ain't never I haven't ever gone on anybody's channel, gotten on a panel, and then messed around with it and tried to turn somebody down. I'm like, that's
Right.
so I didn't even know that was a thing. So when I'm going back looking back at the replay and seeing, when he turns you down or when he mutes you, I'm like, I didn't even know he could do that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like in the dark about that. So my apologies on that one, man. Um,
Well,
and that whole situation, it just kind of got out of control. The thing I wish I could go back and do is say, all right, we're gonna talk about this offline, and we're gonna figure this out, and then we all would have been offline having that discussion. um but it is what it is. What happened. Things have been said after that. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not tripping. We all have our different personalities, so
well, yeah, I'm not
I'm
mad
good.
either. I mean, I'm not mad about anything. It's just I think everything then came out, and there's really nothing else to say. It is what it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as calling people agents and stuff like that, again, I lean more towards not taking into consideration the community. That's pretty much where I'm really at. If they're agents, so be it. Either way, if the community, in my opinion, can suffer from the actions of individuals, those individuals should be held accountable or at least spoken to. You know, and I know some people don't agree with that. They think they can say and do what they want and still call themselves flat earthers. And I mean, I guess you can. What law says you can't? There's none, right? So, but that same right is also applies to the person that doesn't like what you did. So it's one of these things where even to critique and criticism, or you're not. And if you're not, so be it. That doesn't mean I'm gonna be quiet though. You know what I mean? It just means you don't like what I'm saying, and I didn't like what you said. I think the honesty is important in our community. The honesty is important. How can we be truthers and not be honest? I mean, I just don't. I don't see how by kind of taking our dirt and sweeping it under the rug so we can look good is truly helpful. It's kind of like the ideal of like there's those who believe we need the media. I say we don't. You know, I some people a lot of people disagree with me, and there's people that do agree with me. So it's my perspective. But if we're going to constantly get in the face of the media, asking for documentaries or asking for interviews or they coming to us, I think we should be more strategic in because things could be taken out of context, which everyone here knows occurred. We know Jaron is not incompetent. I mean, anybody who's in this community knows Jaron is not incompetent. But we shouldn't put ourselves in a position to look incompetent. We shouldn't put ourselves in a position to look like we're deceptive. And I think that should be said, even if it ruffles feathers. You know, I mean, that's just my opinion.
Oh no, I agree. I agree. And this is, I mean, we still got the training wheels on as far as this situation, so we're all still kind of learning, from these mistakes and these situations that pop up. Like, Jaron, he's gonna take a book or take a page out of Rob Skiba's book, and what Rob Skiba does, and I saw him do this at the first Flat Earth conference, when he was being interviewed by ABC Nightline. He was like, "Here, hold on, let me set up my own camera and record this whole thing." So Rob Skiba's got like he was being interviewed by these people for like an hour, and he recorded the whole thing. And they only use like maybe a minute or two from his interview, and he's got the whole thing on his channel, and that makes more sense. And I'm like looking back at it, like I should have did the same thing, but luckily, luckily they didn't. I, I mean, I didn't give them anything to make us look crazy. I mean, just a snippet that they used when she was talking about my experiment. I was like, yeah, it's so simple, it'll go right over your head. I don't believe they actually put that crap on TV because I mean, I just kind of hit her with a zinger real quick. So I mean, it's either record the whole thing or don't say anything to make yourself look like you're just off it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be acting crazy. Don't don't be careful how you look, how you present yourself when the cameras are on or when you're mic'd up. Be careful what you say, be careful what you do, because I mean, anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of public opinion. So
Hey,
it
exactly.
makes sense. We're all still learning. We're all still learning.
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah. And as this gets more popular, it's more of this stuff is going to happen. You know, and I think that's why it's important that we get it out now. So when we do bigger interviews and bigger, documentaries or whatever the case may be, we should um, we should be seasoned vets by then. You know, um,
mhm.
the I mean, I'm just so anti-establishment, man. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe I just been around too long. These are the people that that promote the globe. The last thing they want is to promote flat Earth. I mean, it goes against everything they believe. So, I mean, I guess there could be some impartial media outlets out there, um, usually on a local level. But when you start looking at these bigger networks and these Tom Warner type networks, they're not going to, I mean, this is my perception. They're not going to give us a platform to truly lay out what this thing is all about. It goes against the infrastructure of our society. Our society is based on the globe.
Yeah.
So here we come going against it, going against the status quo. We're all swimming upriver, and these people want to protect their interests. I mean, it's not in their best interest to hear our argument. And that's why we're so much under attack and scrutiny. You know,
Yep.
I guess we got to try, you know, but if we try, we got to do it right.
Yeah. But here's the thing: is like now let's also consider um where I was at when I first saw it,
Mm-hmm.
and where. So here's what I do. Here's how I try to understand people better. I'll look at the way that I see a situation, or that I perceive something, and I'll acknowledge I'm a regular guy. So I'm thinking that there's a lot of people who see things the same way I do because I'm just some dude. So I'm thinking that the way that I saw um the doc I was distracted. I'm over here like I was doing my laundry. I'm like folding clothes and the things just playing in the background. And then we get to the end. I'm like, oh, that was okay. That was cool. If people would just watch it one time and just kind of lax, not really studying it, not looking at it with the critical eye, they might walk away like, oh, that was pretty good. I've seen a lot of comments where people have said that was a good movie. It was a movie. It was a movie. It was very nicely put together. They had the music, they had the timing. Yeah, it was a hit piece when you go back and you dissect it and you look at how they were trying to make people look and all that. But um, to the common person taking a look at that, they might very well go through that whole thing and say, interesting, flat Earth. I've never heard of that, and they might actually look into it. As a matter of fact, there was a guy at my job who hit me yesterday, actually, and let me see. Hold up. This dude says, "Oh, let me address something real quick." This guy says that my shirt advertises the globe. Have you actually looked at my shirt, guy? Does this look like it's advertising? Does this look like it's advertising the globe? Globe believer logic. Walking on a flat plane at a 90-degree angle. People say that's crazy, but they think that somebody standing on the bottom of a ball is normal. This shirt is sarcastic anyway. This is like a smack in the face. I see people looking at me like, huh. All right. So quit saying it says globe believer logic. Keep reading. It says globe. It says globe believer logic. There are 3 words here. Genius. Anyway, so anyway, so the way that um this whole thing plays out, it can be a means to awaken people to flat Earth. And like I was saying, there was the guy that uh that I work with came to me, and because he saw me at the end of it, he's like, "Hey man, I saw you in this movie on Netflix the other day." I was like, "Oh, for real?" He was like, "It was pretty good, pretty good." He said that it was a pretty good movie, and then he's like, "Now, not everybody's with this." He's like, "Well, the good book does say that it's that the Earth isn't moving." That that makes sense. It doesn't say anything about it being a globe, so he's looking into it impartially. I mean, regardless of all the angles that they try to play us in the documentary, regardless of the clown music in the back, trying to make people look bad, trying to angle it to where the scientific community feels sorry for us, like we slipped through the cracks and they could save us if they would just engage with us instead of pushing us off into the fringe of society. Like he didn't even pick up on that, and he's like, it does make more sense. So it's more people, and I've heard about this. I've heard a lot of this. People coming back and saying, you know what, I'm actually gonna take a closer look at this thing. So it's kind of it's doing what they're doing, as far as the hit piece aspect to people who want to see it that way. But there's a lot of people who are impartial and just kind of watching it, and it'll like pique their interest to where they want to go look at flat earth, or want to look into it a little deeper. So that was my thing. It can't we got to take the good with the bad in this whole thing. They tried it. They tried it, but it's other ways. I mean, it's not gonna have the same effect mentally on every person. You know what I mean? Everybody's not going to see it as a hit piece. Some people are going to see it as a research piece or a documentary, saying, "Oh, these guys look like just regular people. Huh? Maybe these flat earthers aren't crazy," and then they'll end up looking into it. Or people who are already saying that flat Earth is stupid. Well, they're not going to think that flat Earth is any more stupid. They're not going to believe in the globe more than they do already. But you know,
Well, I mean, you're so damn optimistic, and it's hard to not be optimistic when talking to D Marble. um,
hey,
the the um, the pessimism in me is, if the document was done with a true reflection of flat Earth, those who do believe in the globe would be more likely to consider us, versus the way that they presented it, which reinforces the globe idea as being correct and the flat Earth being incorrect. I think just as many, the reason why, first of all, I haven't met a globe earther that didn't like Behind the Curve. They love it. They think it is something that is now in their arsenal that they can pull out to discredit some of our biggest voices in flat Earth,
oh yeah,
right?
oh yeah,
And if you don't believe me, all you got to do is go online. It's all over the place.
oh
They love. I've not talked to a globe earther yet that didn't say they love the documentary. All of them love it, right? Because it reinforced their dogma. It reinforced. Now, with your logic, you're saying, well, those who may have not give a damn either about the globe or flat Earth, they come across it, they may see the viability of the flat Earth in that in it's hard for me to think that's on a higher number than people that just got reinforced. The reason why is because everyone is indoctrinated by the globe for the most part. So if
yes,
everybody is indoctrinated by the globe for the most part, a documentary that makes it look like we have failed experiments, that makes it look like our scientists are concerned about information getting out to the public and so forth and so forth and so forth,
hmm
all it does is reinforce their ideology. So it's kind of like, the way I see the documentary, it was designed to keep their base intact. I don't see it as something for people to consider, because if it was for something to consider, we would have seen some success in the flat Earth process, in the flat Earth experiments. It would have been okay. This one particular experiment shows that the Earth is a ball, but there's also another experiment over here that shows that it could be potentially flat, and blah blah blah. And it would have been something that people could consider. If people go to that documentary and dig in deep, like you say, they have to reasonably come out with the idea that the globe Earth was reinforced
hmm
versus downgraded. You know,
yeah,
so I don't see it the way you see it. I see it as completely designed to elevate the common thought versus to get the common thought to consider another idea, in my opinion. You know,
Oh yeah.
and I identified that the first time I watched it. I watched it at least 6 times, but the first time I watched it, I was like, "What the hell?" You know. But that could be because I'm biased. That's because I'm a flat earther. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Um,
That's because you're actually dissecting things. You're an investigator. You're thinking critically, and
right,
you have the ability to look at things with a more skeptical eye than anybody that I know. So, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. You're able to like pick this stuff apart, and like actually, so it's like you're already starting off looking at it with the side eye, like, what's going on here? So a lot of people don't do that, myself included. Like I
right,
said, I didn't catch a lot of the subtleties until like the second or third time I watched it.
right,
So, I'm not necessarily part of the all press is good press crowd, but I'm just trying to look at it like this. It's going to reinforce it to some, and to others, it's gonna cause others to look into it, because
right,
I've heard both sides of it, and
right.
you know, like I said, we gotta take the good with the bad and just keep pushing forward. Like, I mean, what's next after this though? Where do we
Yeah,
go from here? We got to learn the lessons from this whole situation. If somebody comes along with a idea of a documentary that they want to film, for crying
I
out loud,
I want to do a documentary.
I like it. I
You
like it.
you hear you hear my thing I've been talking about all week.
Um, refresh my memory.
Uh,
Refresh the memory of the audience. Get us up to
yeah,
speed on that.
I I think we should call for joint experiments with globe, and flat earthers. And before we get to that point, we should also create what, and this is a common practice with pretty much various agencies and organizations, the creation of think tanks, where we get anywhere from 5 to 10 people, maybe even more, um, where we sit down and we hash out what we would say would be an acceptable experiment to conclusively, not just one experiment, it could be multiple experiments, it could be multiple approaches to this idea, where we come up with what could be conclusive that would prove that the earth is flat to the public. Now, we already know it's flat, but what could we do physically to show the public um, that the earth is truly flat? That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, invite globe earthers to do the same thing. You put your think tank together, you guys come together and come up with an experiment that will conclusively prove that the earth is actually a spinning ball traveling through space. And then the two think tanks come together to agree on what experiments will be conducted together. Now, the reason why I'm emphasizing together is because we don't trust them and they don't trust us. D Marble went all the way to Alaska, recorded everything that he did while he was there, edited the video, put it out there, showed them exactly what he did, and they still didn't believe it. I think
That's
we're
that's crazy.
right,
But
our
go ahead.
next level, or they made a bunch of excuses why your experiment was inaccurate or whatever the case is, like they did with your level experiment and all that, right?
You just
I
proved the
think
globe.
exactly. I think our next level is where we come together to do it together, where we both witness the planning, we both witness the creation of the experiment, the data collection, and we all witness the results together. So when the results come out, we all can witness it, and it should be documented, and it should be recorded, and it should be 100% transparency from beginning to end. Now, are there globe earthers willing to do that? We don't know. We got to find out. Are there flat earthers willing to do that? I don't know. We need to figure it out. But that's how things are done when you want to put this discussion to rest. I
Yep.
put this discussion to rest because I believe that when we go into the physical world to actually prove our claim, that if it turns out to be flat, there are some objective people that will have to get on board, more so, who would typically be our opponents, will cross over to the other side simply because of how we structured agreed upon experiments. And if we do this right, our numbers could double and triple and quadruple. Now, the way I sell this to the globe earther is, if you guys truly believe that that we're living on a globe, and due diligence, you're going to put up a due diligence to prove that the earth is a globe through the experimentation that you bring to the table. If flat earthers agree with that and you do it, guess what? You guys just proved that the earth is a globe, and we're going to have to go with those results, and vice versa. You're going to have to go with our results. It's
Yep.
all about, we're in a game of poker, and it's time to make that final bet that's going to end it all. Push all the chips to the center of the table,
Yep.
and say,
Go
you
all
know
in.
what? Let's go all in. And what I would add to this is, a proclamation must be signed that once we agree on how these experiments are going to be and how the process is going to occur, and it goes the way that everyone agrees that it's going to go, we sign a disclaimer that says, participate in criticizing the globe, or they will no longer participate in criticizing flat earth. That we will literally leave our positions because we have proven one or the other. Now, what does that mean to flat earth? We prove that the earth is flat through this process, right?
Mm-hmm.
These people now need to rock with us, potentially further exploration. We work together because the real enemy here is not the greater sapiens and the wolfies and all. They're not the enemy. That's our sleeping army.
Yeah, they're well, yeah, okay.
They're our sleeping army. Because for us to truly go against NASA and the government who perpetuates this lie, we're going to need the masses of people on our side. The only way, in my opinion, that we're going to get the masses of people is if we can conclusively prove that the earth is flat with a joint experiment for everyone to see, everyone to witness. And the cool
Yeah.
part is we make this entire process a documentary, from the planning all the way up until the implementation and the creation of the experiment, and also the results of the experiment.
Well, here,
So
let's
not only, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, here, let me hop in. That's what Dr. John D was doing with that peer-to-peer observation with the lasers. He had actually sent out emails. He planned it very well. Had it all laid out. He had a PowerPoint presentation of, okay, this is our aim. This is what we're looking to observe. These are the conditions, and he sent out the parameters. These are the type of lasers. This is the specs for the lasers. This is the distance. This is the locations. All that good stuff. All the information. And he emailed a bunch of people. Emailed a bunch of flat earthers, and he emailed a bunch of globe earthers, and invited everybody to submit feedback based on the PowerPoint that he laid out and everything. And also gave an invitation to, hey, if you want to come out and do that. So Scam Boy Dan, I mean, he was invited too, but I don't think he showed up. So that's what Dr. John D was trying to do. He was trying to set up like a joint observation, and I don't think any globe earthers showed up, because I think they know exactly what's going to happen if they meet up with some flat earthers out on a stretched out body of water with some lasers. I think they know exactly what's going to happen, and they're just going to scream refraction if they do show up. That refraction, because the water is actually bulging and the laser is actually going over the bulging water and refraction. That's why, of course, that I don't think anybody's going to show up if they know that they're going to lose, because they know that they can't, you know, that whatever they come up isn't going to stand the test. But
Right.
I agree that we should have some sort of, yeah, I agree with all that, and
Right.
while
Well,
you were
me,
saying that, I was thinking about the like the vesica Pisces, where you have the circle here where you draw out the okay, this is what the globe earthers want to see, and they draw this out and say, okay, if there's this experiment, if we can do this, if we can do that, and then they'll put that in that circle, and then the flat
right,
earthers say, well, if it'll be proven to be a ball if we can see this and this and this and this. And then there's got to be
right,
some overlapping area where there's some agreement on both sides what we can do. Dude, I feel you. I feel you.
right, right. And you know what? You know exactly what I'm talking about, because this is the kind of stuff you do in the military when
Yeah.
you're doing strategic planning in the talk, right? They
Right.
do this all the time. Well, I'm saying, Dr. Dan, I'm saying going even further, where it's a collective effort on what we decide must be done.
Yeah.
Meaning, not creating an experiment to come out and watch. No, let's participate. Let's come up with the experiment together. Let's agree to the roles of each individual that's going to participate, and let's have third party uh, people observing. Let's document the whole thing, and it's our experiment. The two think tanks will eventually become one think tank, and there will be a level of arguing and disagreement and all that different stuff. But the objective is to get down to the point where we will have multiple experiments that they all agree to and they're willing to execute. And once we get to that point, we then execute it and we document it. We execute it and we document it. And this is the process where you may not like the results, but it's something you agreed upon from the planning stage all the way up until the time we actually obtain the results. Now, I am that confident in Flat Earth to do something like this, to promote something like this, to support something like this financially. I'll put my money into this, me personally. Why?
Yeah.
Because I think this is the next level. We can argue back and forth online all day. We can talk bad about each other. We can have our debates and all. We can do the theoretical mind stuff all day. But when you
Hmm.
get to the physical world, it's all about showing up and actually participating in real um, experimentation. Now, my goal, what I would like to see, where this think tank comes up with an actual expedition. Now, for a lot of people, this sounds crazy, but really it's not that crazy. If the Earth is a globe, they should easily be able to travel in the open seas. I'm using a ship as an example. Let's say we go due east, right?
Hmm.
And we stay on an azimuth where we're traveling east. Well, what's east? 270 degrees, right? Just hypothetical, right?
Okay.
Not east, west. That was west, I was thinking. Um, and we stay on that azimuth, and let's say we come to a landmass, and then we go around the landmass, and we pick up that azimuth, and we keep going. If this place is a globe, we should come around the ball back to where we started, right? They claim that the circumference of the Earth is 24,900 miles in circumference. So if we travel in one direction and this place is a ball, our world is a ball, we should come back to where we started if we stay on a continuous journey of whatever number of miles, 24,000 or less, right?
Yeah.
If this place is flat or there's more to the story than what they're told, we should be able to get much further without ever returning back to our starting point. Now, again, you need a think tank for this. I mean, we need some really smart people to come up with how this could happen, and they would have to argue it out and come up with, the best route and all that different stuff. I'm just throwing out the idea. If we did something like that, I think that would show either we live on a ball or we live on a much bigger ball, or what they say is true isn't true. And if we get lucky, maybe we'll hit an ice wall. You know what I mean? I don't
Right.
know. But all we got to do is show that what they think is true isn't true. That's all we got to prove. And if we prove that they say, okay, we should be near Chile within the next 10,000 miles, and we go beyond Chile and we're not looping back around the ball, it 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 debunks their globe. I'm just using that as an example. Other
Yeah.
things I thought about was like drones on a ship. The ship is traveling, and we can actually send drones out to see what's in front of us at various heights. I mean, I'm pondering all types of stuff. I'm thinking about a helicopter. We travel for so far, and then we can actually send out scouts as far as drones and helicopters, whatever the case is. Whatever it takes, that would be so satisfying to me personally. Um, we got the experimentation, but think about it. Think about it like this:
Hmm.
who has ever done this? Even to their own admission, who has truly traveled completely around the world and returned back to where they started, and they didn't um, do like an oval shape over the earth? I mean, I guess they have said they circumnavigated the earth from east to west, right?
Yeah, that's been the word. Never from north to south though.
Right. But we in flat earth, we argue that they didn't go around the world, they just went in an oval over the plane, pretty
Yeah,
much, right?
like in a big circle because in theory, and what it seems to be is like wherever you are on the plane, the needle's going to point towards the North Pole. So if you travel east, it's kind of like you're making like a huge circle, basically. So I mean, it's kind of, I mean, that'll work on a flat Earth or on a globe,
Right.
going east or west, technically, because
But
that's it's like, yeah.
would that apply to ships?
um yeah, yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because if I mean, it's just a matter of wherever you are on the plane. Now,
Right.
um, if it's set up the way that we consider that it may be, as far as the old, this thing, and the compass is pointing towards the north, it's always going to point towards the north. So you can go around east all day, and then you're just gonna go, okay, go travel back here, travel back around there, and then just come back around in a big circle. So that's basically, you know, what I think that is. But
Right. Well,
somebody trying to go north and then going south and then coming back along the way, I think that would be something to take into consideration. Is that possible? Can we come together and agree that we're gonna fill out the paperwork? We're going to charter the ship, helicopters, the crew, the supplies, and all that good stuff. And then, let's go, or let's just head south and see what happens. If we get stopped by some people before we get to Antarctica shore, you know, we can document that. If we don't, then okay, we got the supplies, we got the helicopter. Let's start getting people up on the ice shelf and just start going. um you know I
I
mean,
don't
it's,
know. I don't know how we can do it north and south, and also can't do it east to west. That doesn't make sense. If we can do it north to south, we should be able to do it north east to west as well.
oh no, we can't do it north to south. That's the thing. That's the
Well,
thing.
they say we can't because of the Antarctic Treaty. So that's why I'm looking at east to west, because if we set off to go west, and to their model, we're going around the globe, but to our model, we're just going further out towards an ice wall. So if you went due west or due east, we're not going around the globe based on our model. We're going towards the ice wall. Because remember, the ice wall is supposedly 360 degrees around the plane. So
Okay.
if we shot in azimuth, I'm just using this as an example, of 90 degrees, which would be east, hypothetically, and we just stayed on that azimuth, we should hit an ice wall before we came back to our point, right? If it's a globe, we should loop around the ball. If it's not a globe, we should hit an ice wall. Or let's say it's not an ice wall, we should just keep going. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why do we got north and south when we can go east and west?
I'm what I'm thinking is that if we follow the compass east,
Like Tim
the
said, Tim is saying in the chat, we're going in a circle east and west. But why is that different from north and south if we're on a globe?
well, that's what I'm saying. The east or west circumnavigation that's taken place you know, dozens of times at least. It's been a lot of people that said they've, you know, circumnavigated the globe. You know, Captain
Right.
Cook, we talked about him a while back. You know, it's a matter of
But
that's
they
already
didn't.
been done.
Like, they turned around. They had to turn around, right? They didn't go.
uh
They turned around. They did an oval over the plane. If we want to say that the flat Earth model is accurate, when they travel east and west, they're making an oval shape east and westerly over the plane. If they truly went east, they should not come back to their starting point in our model. We should hit an ice wall.
if they basically, if they lock the compass one way or another, if they consistently follow the compass and where it's going in order
Right.
for them to go east, then yeah, they will go in a circle. But if they say, okay, from where we are right now, the compass says east is this way,
Right.
and we're just gonna say we're just gonna keep going that way because that way is east from wherever we are, then yeah, they'll
Right.
probably end up bumping into an ice wall if they go that way.
Right.
But if they
That's
continue checking the compass like constantly, then it's going to take them in a big circle.
right.
But
That,
I think I see what you're saying. So they would have to actually lock on to one direction and say, okay, from where we are, compass is pointing this way, east is that way. We're going this way, and we're just going to continue going this way perpetually until we see what we see.
right.
So yeah,
That's
okay. So I feel you. I feel you. You're talking about if
because
they like lock the compass and stay going in one direction.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
We're not
okay.
going to now. The compensation would be if we ran into a landmass, right? We would have to get off of that azimuth. We would have to go around the landmass, but we'd have to pick back up that azimuth and keep going.
Yeah.
You know, assuming that that's well, I just see that as a potential because when they say that they've circumnavigated the globe, they're not talking about going around the entire globe. They're talking about doing well, maybe they want us to think that. I'm saying that if this is truly a flat earth, if we go 90 degrees east and never deviate from that 90 degrees, we should never come back to where we started. If anything, we should hit an ice wall.
Yeah.
We don't need to hit an ice wall in the south,
Right.
especially if they're going to not let us go that way, right? So why not do it east and west? Because we're in our model, we're claiming that the ice wall is all around us, north, south, and east and west.
True.
I don't know if I'm confusing people, but I'm just thinking about dead reckoning where you just go straight. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's
No.
what I'm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're on the same page now as far as that goes. And yeah, that. Yeah, you dead reckoning. That's what I meant by like if you lock into one direction and just go that way.
Right.
That okay. So I feel you on that. So yeah, we should bump into a landmass if we like head towards I don't know, if we launch from, let's say, like California or something,
Okay.
and we just go west.
Right.
And we
Right.
just go west. That should take us, continuing on. I don't know, we might bump into Australia or something along the way, and then just continue to go over that landmass or around that landmass, and then just bump into something,
Right.
But yeah, I feel you. Yo,
But
I
where
gotta. Sorry to cut you off. I think I gotta get up out of here, man.
you got some cops out there?
Uh, no comment.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, I think I gotta get up out of here, man. But yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna go ahead. Yeah, dude. Here, let's chat on this. Yeah, I wanted to get with you and talk about dome or ice wall and all that. I know that's not your thing, but yeah,
No,
let's have a chat about that maybe.
it's my
Our
thing.
thoughts.
I don't mind talking about that. That's my thing. I don't mind talking about it. I just don't think it's something we got to prove. That's all. Like this
Yeah,
whole Great Reckoning is how we prove the ice wall. You know.
I feel you. I feel you. But yeah, how about sometime next week, man? I'll hit you up and yeah,
All right.
we can just have a casual chat or something.
Cool. No problem.
All right. But yeah, man, appreciate you coming on. You know what I'm saying? Glad we got a chance to, catch up, clear the air and all that. But yeah, sure appreciate you, man. Keep doing your
All
thing.
right, brother. No
All
problem.
right. And shout out to the folks, the super chats. I want to thank everybody in the audience for hanging out, uh, for the thumbs up and sharing and all that. I really appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in to the wrap up this week. Special shout out to Tim Truth, Casey Walker, Gartrell McKinney, I Am the Ether, Escape Plan, Rambo Jambo, and Rick Adams. Sure appreciate you. Thank you, Rick Adams. Said this is a great topic to put out there. And let me see. There was another thing Rick Adams said. Sure appreciate you, man. I'm trying to find your last comment. Said the enemies are both the government and NASA. That's a fact, sir.
Yep.
So yeah, I appreciate everybody. Thanks everybody. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. As always, be good to each other. Take care of yourself. Stay flat. I'm gonna try not to get arrested. All right, y'all. Let me see.